to the bottom of this range and from here bounce back to the upside. So 68,400. So this is a $1,200 gap, but we need to hold this. Bitcoin keeps chopping around exactly as expected, but now a huge warning sign just flashed that we need to talk about. Let's go. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in here on this Sunday. Altcoins are getting absolutely hammered. We're gonna get in a moment into that, but first let's start off with some positive news that I have before we go into the bad news that I have. So here on the Bitcoin CME chart, currently it looks like that we're going to print a CME gap from current price action, from the Friday close at $69,620 to current price action at $68,000. What is it? $300, something like this. Let it be 68,400. So 68,400. So this is a $1,200 gap. You guys know the drill. Usually when we have that kind of big gap, we at least come up to close the gap, and from there we need to then reevaluate what's going to happen. What could potentially happen is that we are just coming up here, wick up, and come straight back down, and into the election then start to go lower, because it looks like that all major markets are de-risking and hedging their positions going into the elections, and that of course has an impact overall on the markets. But even though you might not like it, it does not really matter who wins. In any case, markets rallied afterwards, even though, maybe you potentially know my stance. I want that Trump wins, because the last time when Trump won, the markets immediately shot to the upside and rallied like crazy. So I want to see something like this, then another dump when Kamala wins, and only then the recovery back to the upside. So, but enough about politics. I want to talk about Bitcoin and wanted to show you something else, what I found really interesting here on CoinGlass, and that is when we go to the spot volume that has declined since we are in this range up here that I spoke so many times about. So since we're in this range, spot markets basically took profit all the way along, just went down, 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 down. But leverage started to chop around, the same like the Bitcoin price action, because we had always moments where we hit here 92, 93,000 in open interest, over here, over here, over here, over here. And every time when we hit this level, leverage got smashed to the downside, we flushed, came back up again to this level, flushed, came up, flushed, chopped sideways. And now, remember when I told you a couple of days ago that when we come up here into this range, we are going to flush again, and that's exactly what is happening. And the point that I want to make here is that you need to understand the markets are mainly leverage driven right now. So because spot retail is not here, look at this, just going down, so, and even the ETFs are not changing that, which is a little bit surprising, because they need to buy spot. So now when we're going into the Bitcoin chart, here at our bullish super trend ribbon, we are still fine when it comes to the super trend ribbon, but we need to hold this. We need to hold this, even if we come to the bottom here again, $67,400. This needs to hold. If we lose that, Bitcoin might potentially get into trouble. Again, I believe in the next 24 hours, that we are going to get a bounce here, because we are just bleeding left, right, and center. Indicators are heavily overextended and oversold. So there has to be at least a short-term relief rally back to the upside. You can also see this here on the VPVR on 12-hourly chart. We're running here now in this big VPVR cluster, and usually when we come into these VPVR clusters, the lowest point, if we get here like a flash crash, would be $66,700. But I highly doubt that this is going to happen, because here on the stochastic RSI, we are already pretty close to print a buy signal. The RSI also slowly turning around here. Only the MACD is still a little bit bearish, but this can change really, really quickly here. And again, this underlying VPVR cluster should give us the momentum that we need to get a proper bounce back above the $69,000, $70,000 level. On the 4-hourly time frame, here on the 15 minutes time frame, we are now in a more tighter range than we were previously. We have lost the previous range, so that's why I look now here on this. Will not rule out that we come one more time down to the bottom of this range and from here bounce back to the upside, break higher, close the CME gap and continue to go to the upside, for the simple reason that when I go into, what was it, the 1-hourly time frame here, the stochastic is soon topping out. The RSI already turning here, rolling over, and potentially the MACD will give then continuation for further price movement to the downside. So we need to be a little bit careful here, but the higher time frames, they look much different, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. So, and here right now, if I wanted to open a new Bitcoin trade, first of all, you should sign up on a Bybit and deposit $100 to claim your free $500 airdrop position on any of these coins that I mentioned here, guys. This is I think this is still running until next year, into the next year. So, but next year in January, this is going to end here in 45 days. So take advantage of that while you still can know, actually before Christmas it's going to stop. I just see this. The way to do it is use the link in the description and pin comment below. Deposit $100, claim the airdrop voucher, use the voucher, keep all the profits that you make with this. So, and I'm going to show you now where I would enter my next Bitcoin trade if you missed yesterday. What I said yesterday, remember I said if we come down here into the weekly open, this is where I would open a position if we get there, as long as we are holding above the weekly open. This is what we have seen currently, but here comes now the but. Price action is not looking good here. Why? Because we have a really tight range, as I just showed you on the 15 minutes chart. This is range is this. So this is a 1.4% range. So we are talking here about a $900 range that we are currently trading in. So that is really narrow for Bitcoin. And you see this here also with these wicks that we are forming here to the up and to the downside. And the problem that I have with this is that usually when we see something like this, we get one more leg to the downside just to shake everybody out, and then we continue to go to the upside. Also here, the reversal in the indicator on the MDX algo reactor indicator right now is in an absolutely cooled down phase, but that is not preventing us from getting here this one more step to the downside before we then reverse back into higher levels. You see this also on the scalp gradient. We are here now in absolutely green candles. But also here, you see here when we get these green candles, sometimes we even rally back to the upside, then get one more move to the downside, come back up. We usually dump into one of these blue demand zones, and that would bring us down to $66,500, so another $1,000, actually $2,000 currently, $2,000 to the downside. Again, this will be super brief, and then we come back up and shoot to the upside. So if you're looking to open a Bitcoin trade, the way that I would do it currently, I would have 20% of the position that I want to trade with here positioned with a limit order, then at 67,400 another 30%, and 50% here at 66,500, just to protect yourself and to dollar cost average your position down if it's going to happen. It's not about that it should happen, it's about that you're prepared for if it's going to happen. I still have my doubts that we go as low as $66,500, but again, a quick move back to $67,700, $400 might be still in here before we get that reversal that we are all looking forward to. Also from a liquidity perspective, it would make sense to step here into the high leverage liquidity, at least briefly, at $67,500, as I just mentioned, and then turn around, move above the EMA ribbon, liquidate all the shorts that have now built up here, and use that as fuel to get continuation into higher price levels. Also here on the liquidation heat map, when you look at this here, the lowest level with a lot of liquidity concentrated is here at $67,500. $500, and then we have only liquidity above us, massive liquidity that has built up above us, which will again act as a magnet for the price action to move here really quick with a short squeeze, at least back into the $70,000 area. If you want to trade with me together and win $500 twice per week, guys, then don't forget, I'm still trading on ZoomX. Here on ZoomX, I'm not hiding it, I'm of course underwater here right now, $60,000. But again, I'm not seeing right now anything to be worried that I will hit my liquidation price. And again, tomorrow I will deposit a little bit more money on ZoomX to make sure that I will not get liquidated. So if you want to trade with me together on ZoomX, because you cannot use Bybit, deposit $100, open one trade, can be $1, doesn't matter, in, out, closed, and you stand a chance to win twice $500 per week. I'm giving away the next $500 tomorrow, because I think the ZoomX winner, one of them at least, did not message me, or even both of them. I have to check with the team again. But I know one did not message me, 100%. So I give away tomorrow already another $500. So use the link in the description below for this. Then the funding rates for Bitcoin turning more and more negative, which is good, because every time when this happens, Bitcoin gets a bounce at some point. So that's why I'm expecting in the next 24 hours definitely a bounce here back into higher levels. The only problem is that we don't know, will this be a dead cat bounce or will this be a bounce fueled with continuation? So that's the only thing that we have to look at in tomorrow's video. Then the overall total market cap, the total free, is bleeding here back to $590 billion. We are still in this ascending triangle. Here I'm expecting that we are getting a bounce back into that ascending triangle by tomorrow. So tomorrow a bounce kind of, because we were bleeding here now for 5 days to the downside from the resistance at $643 billion. And once we get the bounce back into that ascending triangle, we will continue to climb the ladder up here in direction of $653 billion, break it and get the moonshot that we are waiting for. Then Ethereum, like everything else, currently bleeding, but also here stochastic RSI is at the bottom, oversold. The RSI is here already turning around. The MACD is still bearish, but also here potentially quick move to $2,400. That's where I would set a limit order if I wanted to open a new trade on Ethereum. And then continuation here also to the upside. Solana holding quite strong the current support zone that we spoke about. So we are actually at entry level currently. Good moment to open Solana position. Also here, the RSI about to turn around. We are extremely oversold on the MACD in my opinion, and also on the stochastic RSI here on the 12-hourly chart. So here less than 24 hours in my opinion before we get a turnaround back to the upside. Sui is bleeding also here into lower levels currently. This might still continue and we might get another retest of $1.80 all the way down to $1.75 in my opinion before we get here a proper bounce back to the upside. So that is currently also the zone that I'm looking at to open a new Sui position. And then my target will be for this trade here, the golden ratio once again at $2.10. So, but here, give it potentially another 36 to 48 hours in my opinion before we see here a bigger turnaround. Doge looks, in my opinion, not that bad currently. Here, stochastic oversold, RSI sideways. Is this? No, not yet. So, and the MACD also potentially running out of steam here with the next 4-hourly candle that we are going to print. So we are currently in the buy zone that I marked out. Remember what I said, if you bought here, you should not buy the full position size that you want. You should leave some dry powder on the side. You should buy a little bit more here on the 50, and then when we come all the way down here, there you should then use the rest of it. So if you haven't opened a Doge position just yet, then right now might be a really, really good moment. But just be aware, don't over leverage yourself. And just to show you again what the target is from current price action, the target remains here at 20 cents. So 20 cents is a almost 35% move to the upside. If you want to trade Doge on a decentralized platform, because you cannot use Bybit and ZoomX, then go to AlphaX. Also, there's a link in the description and pin comment below. And also there you stand a chance to win $500. Plus that when you sign up there, you get already $100. Make just sure that you deposit also $100 to be in the giveaway for the $500. A little bit confusing, guys. Watch it again. Should have turned this the other way around, but that doesn't matter. So there's also a link in the description for this. And the last one, I think the almost last one. So Coty is another one that I'm still watching closely here. I definitely believe that we potentially come briefly, so you have to have a limit order there, briefly down to the 7.5 cent mark. And from there get the bounce back to the upside, because also the indicators suggesting the same thing here on the daily, that we are about to turn around. Just a little bit more patience for that. Also here, I would give it another 2 days, potentially 2 days, that we reach here the bottom and then turn around, go to the upside. Then Uniswap also here, we're really close to the $7 mark. Remember when I said this, I think yesterday or the day before, where I said we potentially come down to the $7 mark. So we are now almost there. I have personally some limit orders down here. If we get filled there, amazing. I still believe that this whole move is a fake out on Uniswap, that we will come back in the next 2 days here above the 50 moving average and get then continuation into our golden cross here, which will happen as early as next week. And guys, that's it with this quick update. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you with not so much losses tomorrow.